Taking advantage of a Snapdragon's recent launch of a new mid-range chip, Redmi has also released the Note 15 series ahead of time. The Note series is Redmi's best-selling lineup, and if all goes as expected, the Note 15 series should continue to sell well. However, that doesn't mean they are the best budget phones in the world. In fact, the Note 15 Pro Plus even has some downgrades compared to its predecessor. If you have time, stick to the end of the video. I will tell you why I only recommend buying the Note 15 Pro instead of the Pro Plus. Although the Note 15 Pro will likely be launched globally as the Poco X8, the 15 Pro Plus will probably remain exclusive to China. Those of you who are interested in the Pro Plus, go check it out on geekwheels.com. The link is below the video. First, let's unbox the Note 15 Pro Plus. In the box, there's an accessory box as usual. Inside, you will find the same 3 items, a SIM card pin, manuals, and a phone case. The case is still made of matte silicone. Below the box, there's the phone. We will set it aside for now and check the charger and cable at the bottom. The charger supports 90 watts, so the phone's maximum charging speed should be 90 watts. However, it still uses a USB-A port, which means you will need the official cable to activate the maximum charging speed. Next, let's unbox the Note 15 Pro. The accessories in the box are exactly the same, so I won't go into detail again. The only difference is that the charger's max power is 45 watts. It seems that this year, charging speed remains a weak point for the Pro model. Looking just at the back, the Note 15 Pro series inherits the design of the Note 14 series. Both phones feature the same camera module positioned right in the center. While I understand that reusing the same design for several years on budget phones helps save costs, which makes sense, I can't help but feel a little bit disappointed. However, the good news is that the front design has been changed. The dual curved glass on the Pro Plus has been changed to a quad curved design, making the phone feel more rounded and comfortable in hand. In contrast, the Pro model features a completely flat display with no curvature whatsoever. A similar design approach applies to the back cover. The Pro Plus uses a glass fiber back panel with subtle curved edges, while the Pro opts for a straight, flat plastic rear cover. By the way, I personally prefer the white back cover on the Pro Plus because its pattern makes it less boring, but only this version uses a plastic instead of a glass fiber. So those of you who care about this may want to choose another color. Both screens are very similar in specs to those on Redmi's K80 series. They are likely the same panel model. Both phones use an under-display fingerprint scanner positioned relatively low, which is a classic cost-saving measure for budget phones. Even though the Pro model has narrow side bezels and nearly equally thick chin, I still prefer the Pro Plus for its more harmonious, nearly symmetrical bezels. When I opened the display settings, I noticed that the Pro doesn't have the original color Pro mode. This might be another one of Redmi's cost-cutting tricks. Those who care about color accuracy should prioritize the Pro Plus. As for other features, Redmi has you pretty much covered. For example, they've added an IP69K water resistance rating. Both phones use the same speaker for the top and bottom, meaning the left and right stereo channels have equal volume. And for your grandparents who may have some trouble with the ears, the Note 15 series adds a 400% volume settings. I'll let you hear how the speakers perform at the end of the video. Both phones have plastic frames, and the screen glass has been upgraded to Xiaomi's Dragon Crystal Glass, which should be more drop resistant than the previous gen. Since these are budget phones, some compromises had to be made. For instance, both only support single-band GPS, UFS 2.2 storage, and neither support Wi-Fi 7. While I think most people who want budget phones won't care about these, it's our responsibility to let you know. Right after Qualcomm released the Snapdragon 7S Gen 4, Redmi put it into the Note 15 Pro Plus. You shouldn't set your expectations too high for this processor. Compared to sub-flagship chip like the 8S Gen 4, it's more of an entry-level chip. If you try to run a demanding game like a Genshin Impact, the frame rate graph won't look pretty. Compared to the similarly priced Oppo K13 Turbo Pro, the gaming experience is far worse. We didn't purchase the Note 15 Pro, so we can't test its gaming performance. Based on Antutu scores, the Pro's overall performance is about 85% of the Pro Plus, so the gaming experience can only be worse. But honestly, I don't think you need to worry too much about which one is more powerful. The performance gap isn't big enough to influence your decision. Both models have the same battery capacity, 7,000 mAh. However, charging speed differ. The 90-watt charging on the Pro Plus can take the phone to 50% in 20 minutes. The Pro model only supports 45 watt, half the power of the Pro Plus. The good news is it supports 22.5 watt wired reverse charging, like the Pro Plus. Although the Pro Plus has an additional 60mm telephoto camera compared to the Pro, which sounds great, the size of the telephoto sensor has been reduced compared to the previous gen. But don't be too disappointed. As long as there's plenty of light and you're far enough away, you can still get a good photo even with a downgraded sensor. However, how much light is plenty and how far is far enough, only the phone knows. This telephoto camera often can't be activated in everyday shooting. There's about 50% chance that pressing the 2.5x button will produce a cropped photo from the main camera instead. The good news is, because the main camera is powerful enough, the cropped photos are almost identical from those taken with the telephoto. That said, this puts the telephoto camera in an awkward position. I think I wouldn't want to pay extra for a telephoto camera without OIS. The ultra-wide and main cameras have been downgraded, but they haven't been upgraded either. So the Note 15 Pro Plus camera system isn't good enough to win over photography enthusiasts. As for the Note 15 Pro, its main and ultra-wide cameras are exactly the same as the previous generations. I doubt anyone has high expectations for its photos, right? Due to processor limitations, the Note 15 Pro Plus can only record 4K videos at 30 fps. The ultra-wide camera is limited to 1080p, and the clarity is hardly satisfactory. I know I shouldn't be too harsh on a $270 phone, but these are the facts that I have to tell you. Now, the front-facing camera has been upgraded with 20% more light intake than before. Redmi says this is to help elderly people to have better video calls with their children. So what do you think about the video quality? Do you think it's better? Since the battery capacity difference between the Pro and Pro Plus is gone, and the Note 15 Pro Plus telephoto camera isn't as impressive as you might hope, so far the Note 15 series is the generation with the smallest gap between the Pro and Pro Plus. For Note 14 Pro or Poco X7 users, upgrading to the 15 Pro is worth it. After all, the 1500 mAh larger battery is an epic upgrade. But for Redmi Note 14 Pro Plus users, I don't think the Note 15 Pro Plus offers enough of an upgrade for you. Anyway, don't forget, both phones will be available on geekwheels.com. It would be great if you could like this video and subscribe to our channel. I'm Will from China, and I'll see you soon.